And a very good day everyone. So today we will learn about Power Query. As you can refer over the data over here, we do have the start date, employees names, emails, their respective roles, and also their date of birth and annual salary. So basically we notice that there are new hires for the month of January, and also we do also have the new hire for the respective months, which is for February, March and April. So what we are going to learn today is we are going to learn in and out about Power Query. First and foremost, how to import the Excel file using Power Query, and then how to transform data inside Power Query, load to table, load to pivot table report, and eventually building simple visuals and also changing the file in Power Query. So let's get started. So the first thing is, if I want to import the Excel file using Power Query is, I go to data and then I click get data. From file, go to Excel workbook. This is because we want to import the Excel workbook. So now I click Excel workbook. So once I click Excel workbook, a box will appear. So as you can see over here, a box has appeared and they will ask me which file. I'm going to choose Power Query and I'm going to choose new hires. I'm going to click this and I want to choose for the data of January and I press import. So once I press import, a big box will appear. Okay, a big box of Power Query will appear. So this navigator, I'm going to click employees and I want to select this particular data. And what I'm going to do is I want to transform the data first. Okay, so let me transform the data. So once I click transform data, we will be navigated to Power Query Editor. So now what I'm going to do is I just want to remove the unnecessary columns. Okay, so I just want the start date. I'll just click until the full name. So start date until the full name. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the email as well. Press Ctrl button, click email. And I want the department and I want the date of birth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the start date. The full name. I press Ctrl and click email, and then I just want to select the department and date of birth, and then this is the columns that I want. So the other columns, what I do is I press right click and I click remove other columns. So automatically the other columns have been removed. Okay, what I'm going to do next is this start date, instead of appearing as a date format, okay, so maybe let me choose this. So that I want it to be in a date format. So now it's a date. So instead of a date, I want it to appear as a name of the month. So what I'm going to do is I go to transform, I go to date, I click month and I choose name of month. So now we have January. And then what I'm going to do next is on the date of birth, I also want an additional column on the age. So those who born 1998, I want to know the age. Those who born 1995, I also wanted the age. So I go to add column, I go to date, I click age. So once I click age, of course we do have the age, but this is in terms of number of days. So normally if you want to calculate the age, we calculate the number of years. So we go to transform, click duration, and under the duration there's a thing called total years. So I click total years, and then once I click total years, now we do have the age of the individuals. So I don't want the age to have the decimal numbers, so I go to rounding, round, and I just click round to 0 decimal places. Okay, so now this is the data. So we do have the age of the employees and we do have the new hires when they join and whatnot. So now I press home and there's an icon called close and load. So if just say I click on the arrow and I click close and load to, so I can actually close and load to 4 different items. Either I want to close and load into a table format, pivot table format, or create connection or pivot chart. So for now I want to close and load into a table format and I press OK. So once I press OK, you will notice now we have been loaded, we have import the file, we have do some transformation, and now we have load the file into a table format. So the next question, can we change the file? For example, I want to know what is the status for February. What are the employees that join in February? So what I do is I press right click, I click edit. So once I click edit, and then I go to data source settings. So I click on the data source settings. So once I click data source settings, so this is January. So I want to change into February file. So I click change source, I click browse, and then I choose February and I press import. I press OK, and then so February, and then I press close. So now what I do is I press refresh preview, so automatically it becomes February, and now I close and load, so automatically it becomes a February data. So you just say every month you will have a new file, you can just change the source, but make sure that you have the same headers and the same tab. Okay, now instead of a table format, I want to load into a pivot table format. So I go to the queries, of course, and I click on the load to. So if just say I put my cursor over here, we don't have additional ribbon. But if I put my cursor on the Power Query table, I have the table design and also the query ribbons. So I click on the ribbons query, I click load to, and then they will ask me, okay, where do I want to load? So I just click pivot table report, and I'm going to choose, instead of F3, I just want to choose on A1. Okay, and I press OK, and then I press OK. So automatically now you notice that it has become into a pivot table format. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to put the age and the values. So instead of sum of age, I just want to know the average age, the new highest join. So we have the average age, and then what I'm going to do next is I just want to copy this and I want to paste it over here. So this time we have the age. The second pivot table, I also want to know the number of employees. Okay, number of employees. So what I'm going to do is I just want to untick this and I put the full name over the values. So we have about 79 employees. But not only that, I also want to know by department. So the new hires by department, this is the data. And the next thing is I'm going to copy this again and I want to paste it over here. And this time I don't want the department and I don't want the full name. I just want to the start date. So now we notice the start date is February. That means the new hires that join on February. So based on this given pivot table, I want to create a simple visualization. So what I'm going to do is I want to create a new sheet. I want to rename this as report. Okay, and I want to close all this query connection. Go to this column T. Okay, Control Shift Home, it will highlight this, merge and center. So will merge and center this particular cell. And then what I'm going to do next is I want to go here and I want to put a title. So I want to select this equal, and I want to put F2 and apostrophe FY 2023. Okay, so I'm going to click this. So we have February FY 2023. So I'm going to put here equal apostrophe new hire as of, and I'm going to select this. Okay, so let me make it middle, size of 37, and make it change the color to maybe dark blue, and I put this as white color. Okay, and bold. So we have new hires as of February 2023. And next thing what I'm going to do is I want to select the age. So I'm going to put here, maybe I'll just click this and I put this as merge and center. So I just want to click average age. Okay, average age, and then let me click here, put a border. So we do have an average age, and then over here I just want to put number of new hires. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I want to click here insert, illustration, shape, and then I just want to click this. So we do have this shape, Control D, and I put it over here. So we do have these two different shapes, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press here equal employees, and I want to put at cell A2. So now we have this data over here. What I'm going to do is I want to copy this grand total and I want to paste it over here, equal X lookup. This is the lookup value, lookup array, and this is the return array. Okay, so we have about 79 new employees. So I'm going to click this, equal, and link back here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I want to make it middle. I want to make it the size as 43. Okay, but this number is not in the proper format, so I'm going to change. Let me change this into a format cells, and I want to put into a Okay, remove the symbol and 2 decimal places. Okay, so this is the number, and then I want to change the format, change the shape to blue color and maybe white color font, bold. And then I go to home, format painter. Yes, there you go. And then the next thing is I just want to put my cursor over here, pivot table analyze, pivot chart, and then I choose a bar chart. Okay, so now I have a bar chart. Of course, this chart is not in the proper format, so I just click this, right click, sort, largest to smallest. Okay, and then right click here, format axis, and I choose categories in reverse order. Control X, I go to report, I put it over here, I close the format chart, I close the pivot table, click on the chart element, remove legend, remove grid lines, put data label. I remove the X axis, I right click on the fill button, hide all fill, and then this thing over here, I'll just put here, new hires by department, and I'm going to put it towards the left. Okay, alright, so I'm just going to expand this. So now we do have the data, new hires as of February 2023. So let me upkeep, let me remove the grid lines. Okay, so now we do have this data over here. So now the next question is, what if they say I have a next month data? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the employees. I just want to go over here. You can actually either click here or you go to data, click on queries and connection, and then you right click. When you press right click, you go to edit, and then once you go to edit, you go to data source settings. So I click data source settings and I click change source, and then instead of February I choose March file. So February I choose the March file. I press import, I press OK, I press close, I press refresh, and I press close and load. So we can actually immediately close and load. And now when I go to the report, you will see that we have changed the file and automatically the data has been presented and embedded accordingly. So let me do it again. I go to queries and connection, I right click, I go to edit, and then I change the file. So now instead of March, I want April. So I click on data source settings, and then instead of March, I choose April. So I click on the change source, browse, and then now I choose April. I press import, I press OK, and I press close. So now what I do, I press close and load. So once I press close and load, so you will notice that right now we do have new hires as of April. We have the age, the new hires, and the graph has been reflected accordingly.